Hey basketball guys, we have news. Let's go to more news from the Golden State Warriors, but before that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Many NBA analysts are in doubt as to what move the Warriors will make at the trade deadline. Will they change one or two players to update the squad, or will they invest heavily in a big star? There are strong rumors that the Warriors want to regain their dynasty and that they will hire Jimmy Butler. For this to happen, it will be necessary to give up two young people, Jonathan Kuminga and Brandon Podziemski. They are two players with the potential to be stars, but Kuminga's case is a seesaw, because he plays well in some games and others disappears, and this inconstancy has prevented coach Steve Kerr from placing full trust in Kuminga. In the case of Brandon Podziemski, who is considered the fans' new favorite, the player improved a lot last season, but this season he didn't have good performances. Dilemma for the Warriors: giving up two young people with potential and bringing in a big star? Or keep the squad and see Stephen Curry no longer win a championship? The Golden State Warriors remained on top of the Western Conference with a 12-3 record after barely scraping by a shorthanded New Orleans Pelicans team on the road 112-108 on November 22. Can they sustain this early surge and a 12-man rotation into the postseason? Mo Dakhil, who worked as a video coordinator for a combined 8 years for the Los Angeles Clippers and San Antonio Spurs, expressed his concern on the Kevin O'Connor Show podcast recently about the Warriors' lack of a clear-cut number 2 option behind Stephen Curry. To address this, Zach Buckley of Bleacher Report proposed a trade that would land the Warriors a coveted number 2 star next to Curry. Miami Heat receive Jonathan Kuminga to Anthony Melton, trade eligible on December 15, Brandon Podziemski, Gue Santos, a 2028 first-round pick, a 2026 second-round pick, via ATL, and a 2028 second-round pick, via ATL. Golden State Warriors receive Jimmy Butler and Kevin Love, trade eligible on December 15. If the Warriors are convinced Stephen Curry needs a co-star to make a championship run, they probably aren't doing better in this market than Butler, unless the world's biggest fans of Kuminga and Podziemski happen to reside in Milwaukee's front office. Butler has the experience to adjust on the fly, the playmaking ability to help bring even more out of Curry, and the competitive fire to form a kindred spirit type of bond with Draymond Green. Love's range, vision, and IQ have always made him an on-paper fit for this system, Buckley wrote. Underscore 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 underscore. Playoff Jimmy as Steph Curry's co-star? A Butler trade would represent an all-in move for the Warriors to maximize Curry's remaining years as an elite player in the NBA. Getting Butler would give the Warriors his best co-star since Kevin Durant during their back-to-back title runs in 2017 and 2018. Butler, 35, is called Playoff Jimmy for his penchant for playing big games during the postseason. While Butler lost in the NBA Finals twice with the Miami Heat, he averaged 24.1 points, 8.3 assists, and 6.6 rebounds in 11 games. Butler isn't a good outside shooter, but he is one of most physical and mentally toughest swing men in the league and possesses a solid mid-range game that could complement Curry's outside snipings and playmaking. The Warriors are interested in Butler, according to The Athletic's Sam Amick. Jimmy Butler's going to be a free agent next summer, didn't get an extension done, Amick said on the TK Show podcast on September 12. The Warriors, as you know, have interest there, and I think probably they made a couple of calls during the summer. Butler's future in Miami was clouded with uncertainty following Heat president Pat Riley's telling statement during his exit interview. "We don't have to do that for a year," Riley told reporters about Butler's extension while speaking to reporters during his exit interview on May 6. "And so, We have not discussed that internally right now, but we have to look at that, making that kind of commitment. Butler is on the final guaranteed year of his 3-year $146.4 million contract. He holds a $52.4 million player option for the 2025-26 season. Slowed down by an ankle injury, Butler returned with aplomb in the Heat's 106-89 rout over his former team Philadelphia 76ers with 30 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists on November 18. The Buddy Hield element of Warriors' recent slump. Warriors guard Buddy Hield's shooting slump has an impact on his team amidst the 3-game skid. Shooting slumps are usually an individual metric. However, it might be a different story if you're Buddy Hield for the Golden State Warriors. The Warriors had a 7-1 record in the first 8 games Hield played. He averaged 21.1 points and shot over 50% from the field and 3. The last 10 games have been a much different story for Hield and his team. During that stretch, he's averaging 11.1 points and shooting 40.2% from the field and 37.1% from 3. Although the last shooting metric is above league average, a 10+ % drop-off is concerning. As Hield replaced Klay Thompson, questions circulated if he would match his offensive production. While Thompson was a standout defender, Hield has more of an offensive arsenal than his predecessor. On the season, he's been the 3rd leading scorer, despite coming off the bench. Only Andrew Wiggins and Stephen Curry have generated more points than the sharpshooter. Buddy Hield's struggles aren't the sole reason the Warriors are struggling. The 3 consecutive losses have all been close, only losing by 10 points or less. Not to mention, Golden State has played tough teams like the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Oklahoma City Thunder, and even the Houston Rockets. They dropped from 1st in the conference to 3rd. Although nearly every team is neck and neck with records, the 3 straight losses are a bad look. In Hield's case, his minutes have been severely reduced. After playing high 20s to low 30s in minutes, he's been playing in the high teens and low 20s for minutes. The reduction of minutes means less time to get into a rhythm. Most importantly, it takes away from playing alongside Curry. The Warriors' coaching staff often uses Curry as a decoy for other shooters to get a quality look. In Hield's case, he was the beneficiary of that through the first 8 games. Hield even admitted to studying Curry's game. This isn't saying that Hield isn't a good shooter or he's only benefiting from Curry. That latter statement helps the Bahamian native, but he's a more than capable shooter in his own right. Still, one man's struggle doesn't define a whole team struggle. The team itself is 19th in field goal percentage. Regardless, the Warriors have more struggles than one player. In the 3-game skid, they have the 3rd worst shooting percentage, 40.6%. Hield has some of the blame but not all. All teams go through rough shooting stretches, so it's not a total surprise. While some of it is good defenses by their opponents, other times is players not making shots. Still, they have enough talented shooters on the roster to get out of their slump sooner rather than later. The Warriors aren't expected to make a big this season. DeAnthony Melton's season-ending ACL injury has shone a light on Golden State's starting shooting guard situation, with question marks still surrounding whether Lindy Waters III is the long-term solution. Tracy Jackson-Davis has started every game for the Warriors at center, yet a few notable performances from opposing bigs has brought some discussion on whether the franchise could do with an upgrade at the 5. After trying to trade for Paul George and Lauri Markkanen during the offseason, the other ongoing question involves whether Golden State retains the desire to add another star to pair with Stephen Curry. Well, according to ESPN's Ramona Shelburne, the Warriors may have lost their wish to make a really big move, at least over the coming months ahead of the deadline. I do think the Warriors are one move away from being seen as a team who can challenge teams like Boston, Shelburne said to 95.7 The Game's Willard and Dibbs on Thursday. But my sense is they're not looking for anything really big during the year. Any big move is obviously predicated on a star becoming available, and at this point no such player has recently been reported to be available. Golden State may be going about their business with no interest in a significant trade, yet that could shift dramatically if someone like Giannis Antetokounmpo were to all of a sudden ask about Milwaukee. In the meantime, the Warriors could certainly be looking at smaller deals, particularly if it involves strengthening their center rotation or adding a player that could foreseeably start next to Curry in the backcourt. Golden State do now have Melton's $12.8 million deal as an expiring salary, a flexible contract they could use in a variety of ways if they're prepared to add draft assets or a young player of value. Messing with their deep rotation could be fraught with danger for the Warriors, not to mention their chances of re-signing Melton in free agency may be dealt a fatal blow if they traded him.